Hello everyone, I'm Craig Lingen. I'm with the North Dakota Forest Service. I'm the Community Forestry Manager, and I'm located in Fargo, North Dakota. I'm just going to give you a brief overview of our Community Forestry program in North Dakota before we get into the EAB stuff, just to show you what our Community Forestry Department currently is. Presently, we have 3 full-time employees and 1 part-time employee. 2 of us are located in Fargo, which is the eastern part of the state, and 2 of us in Bismarck, North Dakota, which is more towards the west. And we'll be adding a new volunteer partnership coordinator, hopefully within a month here. So our program has 4 primary components. The first is we work with cities to do tree inventories. We use the tree plotter inventory planning tool. We go to communities, do their tree inventory. If communities are willing, we will train them on this tool so they can use the tool to update their inventories when they add or delete trees. And this tool can be a great management tool. So I'll talk more about that in a little bit here. We also do workshops. We stress workshops for communities so they are prepared to take care of their new tree plantings, whether it's through a Forest Service grant or their own funds. We want successful tree plantings. So we do tree planting workshops, tree pruning workshops. We'll go to communities and discuss forest health issues, whether that be emerald ash borer or Dutch elm disease is still relevant in some areas of North Dakota. We're also working on doing some tree ID workshops for communities. We also do the Tree City USA and Arbor Day events, and we have a successful grant program with the Community Forestry. We just got done with our fall grant sign up. We had 47 grant applications, and we funded 37 of those grant applications for over $550,000. So it was a good fall sign up. So that's a brief overview of our program. Now we can talk about EAB. It's really new in North Dakota. It was confirmed on August 19th of 2024 at a rest area just 8 miles north of Edgeley, North Dakota. So it wasn't in a community, it was at a rest area. The North Dakota Department of Ag found it. They put up traps around the state and have done it for years. In the North Dakota Forest Service, the Forest Health Department also helps with this monitoring and puts up traps. This year they found 5 adult beetles, on their trap at this rest area. And after investigation, this is actually one of the trees on the slide. The trees were all infested with EAB at this site. And they figure it's been there since at least 2020, which is these traps have been put up at this site for many years, and this is the first time they've caught an adult beetle. So they're not foolproof, but we did find it because of the traps. So since the findings, all the ash trees have been removed from this site. It's not where we thought we'd find EAB. If you're familiar with North Dakota, I'm in Fargo, and Fargo is on the Red River in Minnesota. You could throw a rock to Minnesota. Across the river is Moorhead, and Moorhead, Minnesota has confirmed EAB. I've been over there and seen it. So we figured Fargo for sure would be the first community to see EAB. But that wasn't the case. It was found in the middle of nowhere along a state highway. It's not even an interstate highway. So I thought that was kind of ironic. So why is EAB a big deal in North Dakota? Because North Dakota communities with these tree inventories we have found have from 35 up to 80% green ash of their public trees are green ash. So that is a huge thing for communities that are going to have to deal with when EAB gets their town. And it's not just communities. When you go out in the country, the field windbreaks, the riparian areas, most of the trees are green ash. So it's going to affect both community and the rural areas. But today we're going to talk about the community part of it in North Dakota. Here is our tree inventory tool. We have over 130 communities out of the 350 surveyed in the state. So roughly about a third of our communities have some sort of tree inventory. And with this tree inventory, when we go there, we note the species, the DBH, and the condition are the 3 main things we look at. So we like to know what's there, how big they are, and the condition of the trees. We just do public trees. So just the cities, the parks, school trees. We use the tree plotter tool. Like I said, we have over 100 of the community surveyed, and it helps with management of the communities. This this tool here is very important for managing EAB because in order for communities to do the management, they need to know what they have, right? So they can see how many public trees they have, how many of the trees are ash trees, how many of these ash trees are in poor or critical condition. If they know this, they can start preparing for EAB by removing these poor condition critical trees and replacing them with a better variety of trees. We stress to communities that you may have EAB there and it's not been found yet, or it might be 30 years. I wish we had a crystal ball that could say in 2030 you're going to have EAB, but we don't. So the best way to plan for it is to start managing it now. And in North Dakota, removing all the ash trees is not a good management plan because unfortunately that would remove probably about 50% of our trees. So we do not want to do that, but the tree inventory tool can be a great management tool so we can look at the healthy trees that we maybe want to save and then remove some of those poor condition trees. This tree inventory that you see on the screen, that's Edgeley, North Dakota. They did not have a tree inventory before EAB was found just 8 miles north of their community. So we took the community forestry staff and went down there a couple days this fall and got an inventory done for them. And what we found was there's about 57% green ash that are public trees in Edgeley. So as you can see, they're lacking diversity for trees in Edgeley. This is better than some. I'll show you another one that's worse than this. But with this inventory, they can put together a plan to start dealing with the arrival of EAB. While we were doing this inventory, we did not find EAB in Edgeley. It doesn't mean it's not there. It's very tough to detect in the first couple of years, of course. But from what we've seen, we did not see anything that stuck out as EAB when we were there. I'm going to show you one other community. This is Cooperstown, North Dakota. And this one here is on the higher end of what we'll see in North Dakota, but 79% of the trees are green ash in this community that are public trees. So of the 1,000 trees, there's 773 of them were ash. So unfortunately, a lot of towns are like this in North Dakota. Green ash was a quick growing hardy tree that everyone planted. After the American elms all died from Dutch elm disease, they didn't learn their lesson. They went in and planted green ash and didn't do a diversity like we try to do now. So this is what we're dealing with in North Dakota, and we've got to kind of get to these communities and get a management plan. So when EAB does come to their community, they don't have to deal with losing 75% of their trees. After we finish these tree inventories, we provide communities with a report. So in this report, we do suggestions. The community can follow them if they like, but they're just suggestions that we give them. A lot of them will say increase diversity by removing, some of your poor critical condition trees. One thing we want to stress to communities too is please have an updated tree ordinance, because if you don't have an updated tree ordinance, that it makes it clear who's responsible for the trees. There could be a lot of issues when EAB comes to your community because they're going to want to know who is responsible for removing these trees. So that's just some of the things that the communities can use this tip report for. So they can also use the tip report, the tree inventory report, for applying for North Dakota Forest Service grants. We're just getting started with EAB in North Dakota. Some of the larger communities like Fargo, Bismarck, West Fargo, they've been preparing for it pretty well and removing a lot of their trees, their poor condition ash trees, replacing them with better diversity of trees. But helping the smaller communities manage their existing trees is a way that we as the North Dakota Community Forestry Department feel that we can help prepare them for EAB. So that's how we're doing it with North Dakota. These are our contacts up on the screen there. You probably heard enough from me about that. I'm excited to listen to our next speaker, Toby. He'll be discussing some of the research with EAB.